Hi guys, welcome back to Just Railroading. My name's Charlie. Let's see what we got on the workbench today. Alright guys, so today we're going to be working on all this stuff right here. This is I want to say it's a pre-war MARX 999. I've had this thing for a very long time. You can see the old style pickup, the 3-piece pickup. And, you know, of course, it has the double reduction, or the single reduction gear, sorry. And you can't really see it too good. The lights aren't too great, but it does have the spoked drivers. And then this is a shell I got at the Hickory train show here about 2 weeks ago. Be more than that by the time you're watching, but for me it was 2 weeks ago. And this is a basket case I got at the Charlotte Motor Speedway car show the same weekend. And it is in horrible condition. So, there's the motor, and there's that pickup. See, that's the newer style single plate, and it's also got the Baldwin style drivers. So, here's the plan. This is a very special engine, this one right here. I got this in a set years ago from a gentleman. It was an eBay purchase, but the cars are pristine. There's not a thing wrong with them. The paint's perfect on all of them. The only thing that was wrong with the set was this engine. The cab has been obliterated, and it's that early zinc cast, so it's all cracking apart, and I figured that's what happened to the cab. It just over time deteriorated, but it's the earlier one because it has I don't know how well you can see it, but the spoked pilot. Of course, it's broke off, and then they went to the more normal style, kind of looks like a scrape blade pilot. But I was wanting to find an original shell for this, but I found this one at that train show. And I thought I'll use that one, but the thing is, this one's original. And I've already shown I can touch this up. So what I'm going to do is, this one's in really bad shape, got a lot of rust in it. So I'm going to take all the goodies off of this busted shell, like the bell, the handrails, the wheels. I'm even going to take the drawbar off of this shell, put it on this shell, clean this shell up really, really good, do some paint touch up, and this will replace this one. And then I do have an extra motor here, of course, from that one. But I've kind of changed my mind. I'm not going to use this motor. I'm going to use parts off of it. And I'm actually going to fix a double reduction motor, like the 666s and the 1666s have. So it can run through Lionel points. And it'll also have a little bit more pulling power. But it'll have this old style shell. This shell was repainted, or at least parts of it were. I know you probably can't see it too good, but the 999s are pretty much gone. So I'm actually going to take this and strip it down and repaint it. And I got some more parts for it here. I got an extra wheel, because the one on that one has that zinc pest and the gears are coming apart. But I think I'm going to work on this one at the start of the video, and then I might do another part to fix these two. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Let's get into it. Alright, so I've had this thing for a while, like I said, and I got it from an older fella. Never met him, but I got it from him. He actually sent a written letter, and I'll try to put that on the screen somehow so you guys can read what he said. But basically it was his dad's and stuff like that, and they took really good care of it, which, like I said, is a shame. This shell's in such bad shape, because I mean, really, the paint on it is, it's pretty nice. Like, there's maybe a little bit of wear, So it's really a shame that the shell's busted, because for starters, it's such an old and rare shell, and then you've got that damage that's happened to it. So, you know, it's a shame, really. But I'm going to try to make it right to the best of my ability. So I wanted to work on this motor, get this motor fixed up best I can. This motor's in really nice shape. I have never got it to run, though, because of the gears. So there's a chip. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a chip missing out of this one. And that's the one I've got here to replace it with. So I'm going to swap this wheel out, which is not going to be a problem. I won't even need a puller because it's about to fall off, basically. So I'm going to swap them out. With this one, I got to drive the axle out of this one. And to do that, we've got to remove the front pilot, basically. Which I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. I would try it and make sure it's going to run, but I already kind of know it's going to run. And if it don't, we can always fix it and make it run. So, main thing is get this front pilot off here. I wouldn't recommend doing this a lot because these frames will break. Stubborn too, don't want to come off. Let's see. I think that might have got it. Nope. Okay, now it's to bend it some more. They really bent this one. Usually not this bent. There we go. Okay. Take that off. We'll set it to the side. Clean it up a little bit. It ain't really that bad dirty though. But now we can get to this wheel here and I'll show you. See, this basically comes apart. With that gear right there. It's kind of like the old pre-war Lionels. They sort of explode. But that's what this one's for. So I don't know if I want to take this one out or this one out. I don't know. Yep. I guess I'll just I'll knock the one out of this one, leave this one alone. Alright, so I got that axle out. Now the nice thing about these is they don't have to be timed or anything like a Lionel would, so it's basically ready to be reassembled. I could grease them and oil them while I got them off, but it'll be alright. The main thing you want to do though is get your gauge back right. Oh, it's actually kind of loose. I don't like how loose that is. That ain't good. Why is that so loose? Is this axle bigger? Nope. Maybe it's just a little different. Let's see. Of course, that one's gonna be loose because it's cracked. That don't make no sense why that's so loose. I don't like that. I'm gonna try to rough this up just a little bit, give it something to bite so it's not so loose. Alright, I got it that time. I just took it in the vise and just sort of tapped on it with a hammer and it kind of just dimpled the surface up. So now it's got just a little bit more pressure to it than it did. So I'm actually going to use a C-clamp and try to force these together. So you could also use a vise. I've done that before too. I've never tried this though. This will be new. So we're both going to be learning something here, or not learning something. That seems to be working. You can always put a little glue on this too. Okay, I'm going to check and see how wide we're. I'm going to use this motor as sort of reference. Okay. Looks like we got some ways to go still. But maybe not. Yeah, we got a little bit more to go. Not much, but just a little. Maybe just a squeeze or two. Alright, let's see what that did for us. If you go too far, you can always loosen it back up. I think that's almost right. I think it's about as tight as it can get, really. Let's check it with this back one here. What's it showing? Showing about the same. Alright. So that's fixed the gear problem. Yep. Gear problem's fixed. Alright. I believe though while I've got that front pilot off, just to make it easier, I'm going to leave it off for a while. But I am going to see if it's going to run. You can run it with the rods loose like that. It won't hurt nothing. You just got to watch. Make sure it doesn't hit anything. Okay, we know it works in that speed. Let's see if it'll go forward. Okay, reverse. Forward. E-unit's a little sticky, so we'll have to address that, but otherwise it works. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull. I guess I'll pull the little brush plate off. We'll just inspect it, clean it if it's dirty, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I got the brush plate off, and it don't look too bad actually. It would probably been just fine. So I'm just going to give it a little run over with the alcohol. Get off anything that could be on there bad. A little bit of black stuff. It ain't too bad though, honestly. Like I was expecting it to be pretty rough, but I don't think this thing got run much. Not as much as it could have. I believe it's set in a box. And I do have the original box. I've got the original track, original transformer. It's a 100% complete set. And that's the main reason why I was wanting to fix this. Because and get an original shell as I could. Because the cars are so nice. I could have painted one up, and I've got a couple I painted. But it just don't match. It don't go with it. The new shiny paint clashes with the old, you know, the old stuff. It just don't go with it. Need to have that original untouched black. I believe I'm going to call it good there. It's still some stuff coming off, but it'll be alright. Sometimes brushes are double-ended and they'll still have a groove in them, but I don't think those were. This is probably dirty. It always is. It ain't too bad. Alright, that's done. Put that back now. Or at least try to. One thing you gotta watch out for though with these is that little wire there. It'll break very easily. Especially the newer ones. They were not soldered. They were like heat, almost welded on. And I mean it's a pain trying to get them to clean up when that happens. Like they do not want to clean up and reattach very well. So if it happens, just remember that. Be very gentle with that wire. But if it does happen, it's not a big deal. You can put it back. It can just be a little stressful sometimes. But that one there is actually soldered. I wish all of them were that way. They're not though. Like I said before, that does not hurt the springs. So I'm going to go ahead and clean these brushes up. They're not too bad dirty. There's no oil on them, which is usually the culprit of any kind of malfunction. Just wipe the dirt off the ends of them. Plop them back in there. Always try to line that little groove up if you can. Alright. That's clean. Now we're just going to oil it. If I can find my oil. There it is. These have a little felt pad. Sometimes they'll be missing. It's just something to keep in mind. Soak this felt pad up good. I don't think this one ever got oiled. I honestly like them, the newer ones, because they had an actual bushing. This does not have a bushing. It's actually, this Bakelite stuff is the bushing. So it kind of sucks when it wears out because there's no fixing it. I guess I could probably machine up a bushing. Put it back that way, but for the most part, they're pretty much done once that happens. If you want to, you can go into some crazy detail with these. You could clean the dirt out of them, clean the dust out of them, completely disassemble it. I don't think it's worth it though. Runs the same. regardless. See if I can clean this wheel up a little bit. Pretty nasty. Whew. Pretty nasty in there. Well, that black stuff. That ain't too bad. One I replaced, it ain't too bad either. So that was just the worst one. I had that white crap in it again like the other ones. Alright. Oh no! No! Darn. I was afraid of that. Shoot. Well, that sucks. That really sucks. We were that close, too. And there ain't no fixing that. That joker exploded. Look at that. It literally exploded. And I don't have one of those. Not to my knowledge. Well, that kind of set us back for a second. Alright, we're going to pause on this. Alright, well, seeing that I can't seem to... Well, I don't know yet. I don't know if I have a drive wheel with one of those rods or not. I hope I do. I'm going to go look. But while I'm waiting, I figured I could go ahead and take the pieces off of this shell that I'm going to need. And I can also go ahead and throw that one I'm going to repaint in the ultrasonic cleaner with some other parts. That really sucks, though. Really sucks. That wheel broke. I was afraid that would probably happen. That it would do something. Because it was cracked pretty bad. But I wasn't expecting it to do that. That's for sure. These are basically cotter pins. In fact, I've actually replaced these with cotter pins. So sometimes they break. One of those. See if we can get this one now. I can fix this motor again. You know, I could use the ball and drivers off that other motor, but that's just not. It's not original anymore. It takes away from that originalness. So, you know, I'm gonna try to hunt and see if I can't find one in my collection. If I don't, I will just have to do that. I'll have to take this motor here and that one to make one, but I don't want to do that. I really don't. But sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do. And I don't know if I can get that bell off of there or not. I want that bell though because it's chrome. Or something. I don't know if it's chrome or not, but it's nice. Nicer. Knock the lens out. So I can get that little number board off without it breaking. It's already got a crack in it just from age, so that's terrifying. Can't remember how I used to do this. For some reason I thought the lens held it on, but I don't guess it does. There it went. Yeah, it does have a crack. Got several cracks in it. Well, that ain't good. Okay. All I like now is that bell. I'm gonna try to get something in here and tap it with, get it started. And then I gotta take this off because that other shell needs it because it's eat up. Alright guys, if anyone ever asks or wonders what zinc pest is, on the highway you can see those cracks right there. And then if you look on the back side, there's nothing. It's smooth. Basically, this stuff swells apart. Kind of like, imagine pasteboard, for an example, of what you get your stuff in through the mail. A box, a pasteboard box, cardboard box, whatever. You've got that inner layer, outer layers. You've got two outer layers, one inner layer. When you get that wet, how it expands and comes apart, It's the same kind of principle with this stuff, except it just, over time, it absorbs moisture. And it creates corrosion. And then the corrosion just forces it apart over time, and it just crumbles then like glass. And that's basically what's going on. There's even some fine cracking going on in here. And it's a matter of time before this thing just turns to dust. Which is very upsetting, but these newer shells, they don't do that. In fact, they're kind of different. They're not exactly the same. This one's got a little bit more weight to it, obviously, than this one, because half of it's gone. But even if it was still intact, I think it would still be heavier than this one would be. But I'm going to go ahead and strip this one down. I'm going to get it in the ultrasonic cleaner to strip off any of the old paint. So they went over this thing in places. They touched it up. And it's just, I don't know, it don't look right. So I'm going to repaint this shell. I'm sure you guys looking at this are like, well, why don't you just touch this shell up and use it? Well, because of the 999s are missing. The other one's got good 999s. This one don't. But I got everything off of it. I got the little drawbar and everything. So I'm going to try to fix the other shell better with this one's parts. Alright, I just set that shell in there. It's set to go in 30 minutes at, I think that 80 is in Celsius, so whatever that is. However hot that is, I think it's like 170 something degrees. But it's starting to warm up now. I just had to top it off with a little bit of water, but put the lid on, we're going to let her go. See how much paint comes off. Hopefully it takes the paint off. So I'll see you guys in 30 minutes. Alright, well, that just ended, so let's see what we've got. Hopefully the water's black instead of pink. Alright. I'm going to set you guys down for a second, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so it cleaned it up. That's going to look like almost brand new. So I think I'm going to let it run another 30, and then we can get on with it. So I'm going to drop it back in there and let it run. I do have a wheel update. I do not have one of those wheels. I thought I did. I do have one, but it's in probably worse condition than the one that's on it, so I really don't know what I'm going to do. You see, the thing about it is it's in such bad shape that even if I try to drill it and put a screw in it, it's just going to crumble. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if I can do it. If I can, you know, I'm going to do it, but I do not think that it's going to survive. So more than likely what I'm going to end up doing, at least for now, is probably using not these wheels on this motor, but ones like it, and just replacing the wheels altogether. And I kind of had a feeling I was going to have to do that, but I was hoping that I wouldn't. I was hoping I could just swap that one out and be good again, but it didn't work out that way. So while that's running, I'm going to be trying to fix this wheel and see if I can. And if I can, I'll show you guys. But if I can't, then we're just going to move on to something else. So I'll be back when I got something. Guys, I don't know how I just did it, but I have successfully repaired this drive rod to the original wheel. I drilled a hole all the way through. The actual boss just exploded, but I was able to get a hole all the way through to the back side. And then I found nuts that fit that screw I've got stuck in there. Took them, turned them down on the belt sander, and then I stacked them behind there, jammed them up so the drive rod's got its own little, clearance. And then I tapped the wheel out, run that whole thing in there, tightened it up, and super glued it. So Once this glue dries, hopefully it'll be a success. It's not exactly in the same spot as this one. So this one's kind of over the stud. That one is a little higher. Now where you can see it, but it's just a fraction of maybe like a little bit. But so I'm gonna let that glue dry. I'll probably have to glue that wheel on because it just fell off. So hopefully we can actually save these original wheels, because I do not have a 999 with these wheels, which was why I was mainly wanting to save, save the original as much as possible. So let this glue dry, we'll put the motor back together, and we'll be right back basically where we were. Alright, well there's what that shell looks like. 100% clean. There ain't a single bit of paint on that thing. I took it in the house and put it in the sink, scrubbed it down with some Dawn dish soap just to get off anything that might have been hanging around on the surface. But I'm getting ready to shoot some paint on it here, and even it has fine little cracks in it, like you can see right there on the roof. It's fine little cracks all over it. So I don't know if that's just a casting error or what the deal is with that, but I'm assuming probably all of them are that way. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and throw some paint on it, and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, well here it is. 1 or 2 coats of black on it. I think I got everything pretty good. I think that's all the paint I'm going to put on it. I used Hot Rod Black. This stuff right here. See right there, it says Hot Rod Black. That's what I used. This more or less is an experiment, because I've got like 5 other locomotives I'm planning on repainting. So this is just number 1 of the 5. But I figured I'd give it a try with the ultrasonic cleaner, and then trying to find something that sort of matches that original color, because the original color, you can kind of see it with this shell here. It's not exactly shiny, but it's not exactly dull. And it's not semi-gloss either. It's just sort of, I don't know. It's just got like a sheen to it, and that's all it's got. I'm hoping I can bring this shell back around. I'm going to start working on it here in a minute, but I'm hoping I can bring it back, touch these paint spots up, and make it look halfway decent. But I'm going to try. Anyway, we'll see what we can do. Alright guys, so I cleaned this shell up. This is the one that was with that rusty motor, and it's not half bad. It does have some pretty hefty corrosion, as you can see in there, but I'm hoping I can bring it back. But I'm going to try to go ahead and touch up all these pretty noticeable spots where the paint's missing, like up there. Still got a little water to dry in there. But I'm going to try to touch it up, and we'll see if maybe I can bring it back. I don't have high hopes, but I'm going to see if I can do it. It's not in terrible shape. I mean, that decal's a little screwed up, but that one's really, really nice. So the decals are nice. So I'm going to see what I can do. Alright guys, I worked on it a lot, and it actually kind of surprised me. That's original paint. That's not paint or anything I added. That's just Sharpie and a little bit of shoe polish. I actually used shoe polish this time. I didn't just use what was on the brush. So that's probably why it looks so good. It shined it up a lot more. I wouldn't suggest using shoe polish, wet shoe polish, but that corrosion was so bad that the dry stuff wasn't transferring into it, so I had to break out the fresh, but I only just touched the brush into it, and then I worked it all over. Then I took the shine brush and hit it and went over it. But I think it come out pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back in it: the whistle, the bell, the lens, the number boards, and the little handrails. I gotta clean up some handrails here. But I'll go ahead and get this shell put back together, and we'll get that motor put back in there, and I think we'll be good to go. Alright guys, well here it is, put back together. I say it come out pretty good. There's that wheel I fixed. Got it greased up, got the E-unit sort of wanting to work. It's kind of wanting to be sticky, but I say that's about as good as it's going to get. I think I did a decent job bringing that back, especially that shell. I'm still going to be looking for a shell for this motor and maybe a wheel and some other parts, because that gear on that wheel is in pretty bad shape. But it was the only wheel I had, so I had to make it work. But so I'm still going to be on the lookout for a better shell and a better wheel to actually fully restore this thing back to what it's supposed to be. So I'm going to keep working on this other one here, and we'll see what we can get done. Now it's time to work on the custom one. So here's what I'm going to do. Got this motor here. It's a good running motor, nothing really wrong with it. I've gone through and fixed it. So I'm actually going to take these two motors and make one. I'm going to take the front pilot piece off of this one. I got to clean it up and take the drive rods off. And then I'm actually going to take the parts back off of this one and put it on this one, because this was out of something, but what it was out of really didn't matter as much as this is going to matter. So just for now, I'm going to do that, swap the stuff around. So there we go. Okay. So those are off. This motor's now ready. Might have to service it a little bit, because I think I did some stupid decisions on that years ago. Now this thing, all of its fun rustedness. Okay, there's that, and these things look terrible. There we go. Okay. Those are in terrible condition. Great. This little motor here, it did run. Of course, it's very, very stiff, but it did run, seems like. Or at least it tried to. We'll see if it still runs. No, it don't run. Never mind. I feel it pulling, so it's... I'm curious. I'm gonna see if I can make it move. I've got to anyway. I might as well do it. I'm gonna oil it first. This motor's filthy inside. Okay. Feels pretty easy to move now. Let's see what it'll do. Brushes are dirty. Okay. Alright guys, I believe this motor's junk. Well, not really junk, but parts. Because I took it apart, took the brushes out, cleaned them, and it still ain't doing nothing. So more than likely the E-unit's dirty or something like that. It's just going to have to be took apart and cleaned, and I don't really have a good way to do that right now. So I'm just going to put it to the side. I'll have to come up with another motor for what that one come out of, but until then, main focus is this one. So we got our rods off. I've got to clean these up, and I'm either going to paint them or something. I don't know just yet what I'll do, but I'll come up with something, clean these up really good. Alright guys, I got all the parts soaking in this evapor rust here, so I'm going to see what they'll do. I also forgot, I got this tender here too that I might have to try to clean up. So more than likely this is going to be a 2-part series, and I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next week for part 2.